This lesson is on simplifying and expanding fractions. Before you continue with this video, you need to know is how to do prime factorization. If you do not know how to do prime factorization, please watch the video that says number types. So for simplifying fractions, there are two rules. One of the rules is that you can divide the numerator and the denominator of a fraction by the same number without changing the value of the fraction. That is very important, that you cannot change the value of the fraction right here. What does that mean? If I have a over a, it is equal to 1. A represents any number. So if a was equal to 7, 7 over 7 is equal to 1. That's what we were trying to do, is we're trying to simplify numbers by getting the same denominator and numerator numbers. So let's try one. So this is the first example, and this is one of the methods, is to do a prime factorization. So prime factorization for 4 and 16 looks something like this, because 1 times 2 times 2 is equal to 4. 1 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 16. So now let's go ahead and use the rule that says that we're looking for the number on the numerator and denominator of the same fraction, that a over a, so that way it equals to 1. So I see one set right here, 2 over 2 is equal to 1. I see another set, 2 over 2 is equal to 1. There's no more, because on the numerator right here we only have 1, and 1 over 1 is obviously 1, so that's not going to do anything for us. So if we simplify that, we're going to get just the 1 on the numerator right here, right? And then we have is 1, 2, and 2, so that's where the denominator is. And we're going to go ahead and multiply those numbers and get 1 over 4, because 2 times 2 times 1 is equal to 4 right here. So that's one method, which is using the prime factorization. The second method is using that a over a equals 1 again, but we're trying to find is what fraction will go into 4 and also 16 evenly. 4 goes into 4 evenly, and 4 goes into 16 evenly. And so if we do that, 4 goes into 4 one time, 4 goes into 16 4 times. This is a quicker method, but you need to know is what is that fraction of the same number that will go in evenly into this fraction right here. So let's try another one. 9 over 24. Let's use the prime factorization. So prime factorization is 1 times 3 times 3. For 24, it is 1 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So we're looking for that a over a equals 1. So I see one set right here, which is 3 over 3. That's going to equal to 1. The only thing is now on this part right here, this 3 has to have another 3 in the denominator. So since there are no more 3's, we are left with 1 times 3. And then for the denominator, I have is 1 times 2 times 2 times 2. So if we multiply those out, we're going to get 3 over 8. So 9 over 24 is simplified to 3 over 8. Now let's try the other method, which is finding a fraction that is divisible into 9 and 24 evenly. So it goes into evenly by 3. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 goes into 24 8 times. So your final fraction is 3 over 8. Let's try 16 over 24. So prime factorization is 1 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 16. For 24, it is 1 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So we're looking for that a over a equals 1. I see one set right here, 2 over 2 is equal to 1. I see another set right here, 2 over 2 is equal to 1. And a third set right here, 2 over 2 is equal to 1. So what are you left with? I'm left with is just 1 times 2 on the numerator and 1 times 3 on the denominator. So simplifying that will give us 2 over 3. So the fraction right here of 16 over 24 is simplified or reduced to 2 over 3. So now let's try 16 over 24 using the second method. So the second method is what is the fraction that goes into 16 and 24 evenly? They are both divisible by 8. So 8 goes into 16 2 times. 8 goes into 24 3 times. So your final answer is 2/3. Now let's go the opposite direction, which is now the equivalent fractions or expanding fractions. The rule says that you can multiply the numerator and denominator of a fraction by the same number without changing the value of that fraction. So it is very similar to the idea of a over a is equal to 1. We want a fraction that is on the top and also on the bottom that you will multiply of the same number to expand the fraction. So for example, if I have 3 over 4 as my fraction, we want to expand the fraction of something right here on the top, and the denominator clue that they give us is 20. So what is 4 multiplied by to give us that 20? It is multiplied by 5, because 4 times 5 right here will give us 20. So because of this 5 right here, it has to be the same number on the numerator, because remember, this is the a over a right here. So 3 times 5 is equal to 15. Okay, let's try a second example. So we have this 2/3, or 2 over 3. It is expanded on the new fraction as something over 12. So what is multiplied by 3 to give us 12? It is multiplied by 4. So 3 times 4 gives us 12. So again, the same number has to be on the top. So 2 times 4 will give us then 8. So that is a lesson for simplifying and expanding fractions.